a little second to join us. Hello, I'm Ashley Turner. I'm here with a very simple New Year's ritual. This might be actually a little bit longer than my typical videos, but I want to say happy holidays to you all. Happy New Year. I'm a yoga meditation teacher, a psychotherapist here in Los Angeles, and today I'm going to break down my 4-step process for New Year's rituals. So we got Instagram, we got Facebook going. I want to be clear that I'm actually not a huge New Year's resolution person. I think there's a lot of momentum, there's a lot of sort of hype around New Year's. It can breed some anxiety for me, so I'm going to keep this really simple, but I do feel like it's extremely important to honor transitions in our lives. And as a depth psychotherapist, one who is very focused on depth psychology, on the shadow, on integrating the unconscious, it's super important that we set ourselves up for success by honoring the turning of the wheel. And so this is a huge threshold, of course, when we start a new year and we're getting ready to start a new decade. And so here's a quick process. And you can take however long you want for this, but I find it really helpful because the first thing that we want to do when we move over any threshold. Now, I just want to back up for a second and say that in-depth psychology, and depth psychology just means that we're integrating the unconscious and we're being very mindful and conscious in every moment. The first order of business is to really be where we are. And the best way to do that is to honor where we've come from. So the first step in this process is to look back. Now I have a clipboard here and a paper and pen, so I highly recommend getting some tools and setting aside some time. So these videos are going to be up on Instagram and Facebook, so you can come back and watch them at any time and set yourself a little time. Maybe it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe you want to do an hour, 2 hours. And the first step is to look back over 2019 and really acknowledge where you've come from. So we're going to start there. Everybody, option to close your eyes. You can keep them open if you prefer. Feet on the ground if at all possible. And let's take 3 deep breaths together. Nice long spine. Inhale. And exhale everything. Inhale. And exhale everything. And one more inhale. And exhale everything. So now that you're a little centered and you've arrived right here, right now, take a moment to go all the way back to January of 2019. And just slowly in your mind's eye, walk your way through the winter of 2019, tuning in to just observe what you were called towards in 2019, where you were called to rise up in 2019. Maybe you had some big thresholds of initiation. Maybe you had some big victories personally, at work, with your family, with your health, moving through the springtime of 2019, through the summer of 2019, and just observing. To start by simply observing where you came from. And we're going to start with observing, again, the victories. And so attuning to the 3 things in your last year that you're most proud of. So I'm going to have you limit this to the 3 things that you're most proud of. So isolate 3 things, one from your personal life, relationships, family, maybe personal goals, one from your professional life, a goal, an aim, something that you wanted to create, that you followed through on, a project that you completed or maybe that you initiated. So one personal, one professional, and then something that is spiritual or in your inner world, something on your heart. So maybe that's you wanted to be more mindful this year. Or I know for myself, one thing is I really wanted to practice more gratitude last year, and I really feel like I did that. So personal relationships, professional success, and then an inner spiritual or personal interior practice, self-development, 3 different victories. So start by identifying them from the last year. And really look back and feel pride, feel gratitude, feel appreciation towards yourself. Take a moment to feel the satisfaction and the contentment of reaching. Again, one is in your personal life with your relationships, one is in your professional life with your career, your dharma, and then one is in your spiritual or personal development, your inner life. And if you have a piece of paper and a pen, I'm going to invite you to write down those 3 specific things. So you can go ahead and very quietly open your eyes if you wish, and just write down specifically, these are the 3 wins from 2019. 3 wins from 2019. And of course you had more than that, but we're going to just work with those 3. One of the biggest challenges when we move forward and we start focusing on our goals and our next year, our next decade, is that we can easily, quickly forget about all the successes, and we haven't yet taken the time to really integrate and own our successes and our wins. And that's super important, because if we don't register it internally in our mind and in our body and on our hearts, then we easily focus. Our mind has a negativity bias. We focus on what didn't go right, what we didn't do. And so we actually have to take it's a little extra initiative to anchor into ourselves those wins and really acknowledge and register those wins. So that's the first order of business. Number 2, feel free to close your eyes if you wish. Again, put down your piece of paper. Second step in Ayurveda, one of the biggest guiding principles is that like increases like, and the opposite heals. So I want you to look back at 2019 and consider, what are 3 things that you would like to change from 2019 to 2020? What are 3 things that you would like to see? And again, we're going to stick with personal, relationships, in your personal life. It could be your physical body. The second is going to be your career, your finances, your career. And the third tier is, again, self-development, your intrapersonal, intrapsychic experience, spiritual nature. So what is one thing in your personal life that you would like to shift? For myself, I would say I really want to be more present when I'm with my loved ones. I really want to put down my phone. I want to not be on the TV. I want to be really much more present. I don't feel like I'm not super present, but I feel like I want to be even more present because it's so precious. And then one thing in your professional life that you would like to see change from 2019 to 2020. And then finally, one thing in your spiritual, your inner life. Maybe that's something towards your relationship with yourself. Maybe it's someone that you want to forgive, something you want to let go of. You want to cultivate a more spiritual connection. You want to meditate, whatever that is. Choose one thing. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you can write down, what are the 3 things that you want to see shift from 2019 to 2020. Very tangible and very specific. So let's keep it really clear. Go ahead and write those down. And just notice your breath while we're going through this process, and keep yourself in a state of ease and calm and appreciation. And then again, we're going to move on to the next step. So I'm moving through these very quickly, and I really want to encourage you to take a lot more time and stretch it out. And you could take a whole afternoon. You could do this with your partner or your friend or your child, and make it really a mindful ritual. So adapt it however you need. The third step, feel free to close your eyes again. In this idea of like increases like and the opposite heals. So when you look at those three things that you want to see shift from 2019 to 2020, what are the three actions? What is one action step that you will commit to that is the opposite? So if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting the same results, like increases like, and the opposite heals. So what is one thing that you are tangibly committing to doing differently for each one of those that you just mentioned? So the things that you want to see change, what is one tangible action step? Just one for each one of those. And the reason I'm keeping it to 333, because I really feel like it can get very overwhelming at the new year, and that is actually not setting us up for success. I think if we change one thing each year and really commit to that, so it'll be one thing in your personal life, one thing in your professional life, and one thing in your inner life. So for example, for me, being more present with my family, my loved ones, my partner, the tangible action step that I will commit to is setting up a date for my partner and I, my boyfriend and I, every Friday night. We're going to alternate every Friday night. Either I'm going to take him on a surprise date, or the next week he's going to create a surprise date for me, so that we're actually going out in the world, we're exploring our amazing city, we're doing something fun, and we're putting our phones in the car, we're leaving them there, and this is just about us having fun and playing, having a play date together. So that is one action step that I'm committed to taking to create more intimacy and more presence with my loved ones. So maybe it's leaving your phone in the car when you go out to eat. And then what's one thing you can commit to doing in your career or your financial life? And one action step that you're going to commit to doing in your inner life, your spiritual life, your self-development. Maybe that's meditation, or starting a class on something, or going away on a retreat every quarter, something that you commit to for each of those three. Like increases like, and the opposite heals. So the action step that you want to create for the next year. And when you're ready, you write those down, and then we'll move on to the final step. So the final fourth step of this, we started with celebrating your wins from 2019, step number 1. Step number 2, identifying the 3 things that you want to see shift from 2019 to 2020 in your personal life, in your career, finances, and then in your inner life. And then step 3 is the action step that you're going to take to create those shifts. And then finally, the last step is in 2020, when you're sitting here a year from now, what are the 3 core desired feelings, as my girl Danielle Laporte says, what are the 3 feelings that you want to create more of? So just 3. For me, one of the feelings that I want to create more of is spaciousness. I want to feel more spaciousness and ease. I want to feel more contentment. So I really have to practice my gratitudes to feel more content. And I want to feel more abundant. I want to feel even more in control of my finances, more clear about my P&Ls, about where I'm spending money, where I'm saving, what my goals are. So those are the 3 that come to mind that are top of mind for me. Spaciousness and ease, more contentment, more joy, and then more abundant, more affluent, more rich and wealthy. And that comes from me taking action in that direction. So the final thing is for you to write down just 3 words. And if you have a couple, like I had a couple for each one, then you can choose which one of those words has the highest charge. So what are your 3 words for 2020. Just 3. So I'm going to say ease, joy, contentment and joy, and abundance. Those are my 3 words. Okay. So those are your 4 steps. And I would love for you guys to post in the comments right now and in the comment on Facebook and Instagram or below the post as it keeps coming if you watch this later. What are your 3 words for 2020? What are the 3 words that you are committing to? And then what happens, the final tip that I'm going to give you to wrap this whole ritual up is to use these 3 words as a filter, that everything in your life filters through these 3 words. If this is truly what you're intending, so for me, ease, joy, contentment, and abundance. If it doesn't align, if a relationship doesn't align with those 3 words, if a business project doesn't align with those 3 words, if it's not creating more spaciousness and more abundance and more joy, then I'm not going to do it. If this conversation that I'm having isn't creating more spaciousness, more joy, more abundance, then I'm going to stop having that conversation. If the TV show that I'm watching, you get the idea. So everything in your life becomes intentional, and you set it up in this pyramid with those 3 words at the top. What are you focused on? What do you want to create intentionally in your life? And what are the actions that you're willing to back it up with? Because that's where the rubber hits the road. It's all about actions and what you choose to execute on. So this is your 4-step process, simple 4-step process. I really like to keep it to 3 each. So if you just tuned in, go back and watch from the beginning. Very simple way to really acknowledge your wins of 2019, to get clear about what you want to see shift, and then commit to those action steps, and then codify it into those 3 words so everything filters through that lens. All right, let me know how this worked for you. Post your 3 words in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Sending you so much love. Enjoy this week, this time between Christmas and New Year's and a few days after New Year's, to really relish in the spaciousness of the season and avoid any tendency to get anxious or feel overwhelmed with this emphasis on resolutions and goals, and really attune. So the key is that we tune inward and that you're making your choices based on your truth, not on anybody else's truth or anybody else's planner. There's this obsession with planners right now, which is fine. You know, it's great if you write it down, for sure, write it down. But I think there's this overemphasis on striving. And I'm not advocating for striving. I'm advocating for attuning, aligning with your deepest truth. Okay. So much love to you all. Namaste. Please tag, please share. Take a screenshot of this if you're watching it on Facebook. If you're watching it here, share it in your feed on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm sending you guys so much love. We have a big surprise coming, so make sure you're on my wait list. Get over on my email list, ashleyturner.co. Get on my email list. I have a big surprise coming this week. I'm really excited about it. It's totally free, and it's launching this week. So I will see you soon. Namaste.